Hello, everybody. Happy Wellness Wednesday. So good to see everyone today. We're going to be learning about fertility and food today. So, today's topic is Mother's Womb, and we're going to be premiering live at 7 p.m. today. Don't want to miss that on YouTube at Holistic Chefs. So let's get right into it. Mother's womb. That's today's topic. I have my presentation right here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I am Chef Tiffany. I'm a wellness coach. I'm a chef, holistic chef, that is. I'm also a keynote speaker. And today I'm going to be teaching you guys about fertility, or I should say, you ladies. Amen. This is for the ladies. I'm going to be teaching about fertility and food today. You're going to be learning how to track and sync your monthly cycle, as well as discuss what foods to eat for optimum womb and hormonal health. Okay, so this topic is near and dear to my heart. Although I don't have any children yet, I do have a lot of mothers around me and people with children around me, right? So I'm excited about this topic, okay? So, first, let's talk about how to track and sync your monthly cycle, ladies. This is important, okay? Why is this important? Because if you are a young lady who is trying to prevent pregnancy, let's say, right? You could be on the pill, you could have an IUD, like there's a lot of different ways of contraception out there. You could use protection. However, as a lot of you know, these methods are not 100% effective, right? So it's up to us to make sure that we educate ourselves and that we know how to prevent an unplanned pregnancy, right? I just want to touch on that. And we do that by making sure that we understand where we are in our womb cycle, okay? So we're going to learn a little bit about that today. And so we're going to talk about our two phases that we have, okay? We have two major phases as women that we go through every single month, okay? So write this down, get your pen and your paper because we're going to get into it as far as tracking, okay? So the phases of your monthly cycle are your follicular phase and your luteal phase. Two phases, okay? So day one in the tracking, so what I want you to do on your piece of paper, whatever you're using, ideally a piece of paper, I want you to draw a circle. I want you to draw a circle, and on the first half outside of that circle, I want you to write follicular phase going around. And on the second side of that circle, I want you to write luteal phase. Okay? So the first day of your follicular cycle, which is the next thing that you're going to draw, I want you to write all around this circle the numbers 1 through 28, like a clock, but like a really large clock. Okay, so this is going to be a big circle that you're going to draw. Maybe you want to use a pencil. Okay, you grab a pencil and some paper, just regular plain paper. It doesn't have to have lines. Just draw a circle, right? You got your follicular phase on one side, you got your luteal on the other, right? And then I want you to write from the top the numbers 1, 2, 3, all the way around like a clock through 28. Okay? Good. Once you've done that, we're going to talk about the first 7 days. So then I want you to do is I want you to segregate days 1 through 7. So just write inside of that circle, I want you to just draw another smaller circle around the days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because during days 1 through 7, your uterine lining breaks down, right? And menstruation occurs. That's what's happening when you're bleeding. Your uterine lining is breaking down and all of that is coming out. Okay? 1 through 7, that's what's happening. So you circled 1 through 7, and then on the inside of your circle, just write a little arrow. Maybe you want to do another little bubble, or you can just write uterine lining breaks down, or just write menstruation. Okay? So ideally, your menstruation is happening 1 to 7 days, ideally, right? Of course, some of us don't have that luxury. But for those of us that do, this is usually when it happens. Okay, so then I want you to circle days 8, 9, 10, and 11. On days 8, 9, 10, and 11, the lining of the womb thickens in preparation for the egg. Okay, so circle days 8 through 11, and then write a little arrow and just write your womb is thickening in preparation for the egg. That's what's happening in those days. Okay? So the next days, now these are really important. And just to mention, we're still in our follicular phase. Okay? That's that first half of that circle. We're still in our follicular phase. So days 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. These are ovulation areas. Okay, these are the days, these 5 days right here. Okay, pay attention. These 5 days right here is where you could get pregnant. Okay, usually there's like a perfect day, usually around day 14, right there in the middle between. Okay, now remember, these are kind of like guesstimations. Every woman is different. Some of us, have menstruation for 4 days, not 7. Some of us, but these are general numbers. And from henceforward, we will be tracking, right? And you're going to have your own circle that applies to you. And you're going to fill in, okay, well, this month, I was kind of, menstruating from these days. But understand that menstruation is not only the time when you're like full flow. Usually you start a little bit before you're seeing signs, you're seeing spotting. So, anyways, I just went back. We're moving forward. Follicular phase. This is the end of your follicular phase here, ovulation. Okay, days 12 through 7. This is when, ideally, ladies, if you're not trying to conceive, don't do it. Just don't do it. Like if you're having intimacies with the opposite sex and you could potentially get pregnant, just don't. Just 12 through 17, just shut it down. Okay? And just explain that to your partner. And what's the hardest part about this, and just to be honest, is that our creator made this so like very intently, like they thought about this. Okay? So you will find, as you continue to track and you continue to think about and journal about this journey, which I hope you do, is that during this time you want to do it the most, right? You are the most ready at this time. Okay, your discharge is more ready. Everything about you is more ready during this time. But if you are not in a place to conceive, you have to be careful, right? Which now leads us into our luteal phase. Okay, so luteal phase, there's 2 major components of this phase. This phase, days 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, what's happening here is your body is recognizing and adjusting. Okay, it's like, all right, we dropped an egg. It wasn't fertilized. So now your body is moving into a new phase of we didn't get pregnant, and so we're starting to prepare for our next menstruation, basically. But the technical terms of what's happening here is that if fertilization has not taken place, the corpus luteum fades away. Okay, and then the last few days, which is days 26, 27, 28, the uterine lining detaches, which moves us in. Then that's when that spotting, is going to start happening. And that leads us in again to days 1 through 7 when we're menstruating. Okay? So just to backtrack the luteal phase, you want to go ahead and circle days 18 through 25. During this time, if the egg hasn't been fertilized, your corpus luteum fades away. Okay? And then days 26, 27, and 28, go ahead and circle those. And in this time, the uterine lining detaches. That's going to lead into your menstruation. Okay? So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little circles within your large circle, and you should have days segregated, days 1 through 7, days 8 through 11, days 12 through 17, ovulation, days 18 through 25, and days 26 through 28. Okay? So that's how you track your cycle. That's how you track where you are. That's how you know what you need to do and where you need to be. And also how you need to eat and how you need to exercise. And this is something that I teach you once we're in coaching, you know what I mean? But if you can understand and know and hone into where you are in your womb, ladies, sisters, friends, families, okay, you can really improve the way that you feel, the way that you look, the way that you just walk around here on this earth, okay? When you are in your follicular phase, you are at your strongest, ladies. And this is just a taste, okay? You're at your strongest. That's when you need to be weight training, going in, going hard, okay? When you're in your luteal phase, you need to be doing more chill exercise. Now, I know at first glance, you may think it should be the opposite, right? That while you're menstruating, that actually you should be taking a chill, you shouldn't be doing anything. But that is actually against our nature, ladies. When you are menstruating, your body has prepared for this. Okay, that's what's going on. Day 26, 27, 28. Your body is, that's why you start to crave stuff. You want chocolate, you want food, because your body is building up the stores, getting ready for you to go through this phase. Okay? So to keep on through what we eat or how we're supposed to eat for a healthy womb, I want to quickly discuss seed cycling. And seed cycling is the practice of eating specific seeds, during the 2 main phases of your cycle to help promote the healthy balance of estrogen and progesterone levels. Okay? So, if you look this up online, some people say, it's not really effective. Some people are really gung-ho about it. The fact is that eating more healthy seeds in your diet is not going to hurt you, honey. It's just not going to hurt you. So might as well, just implement some more healthy fats and seeds into your diet, okay? So the main seeds are for your follicular phase, which is the phase in which you're menstruating, okay? That's day 1 through 14-ish, give or take, depending on you. We're going to be eating pumpkin seeds and we're going to be eating flax seeds. You want to get a tablespoon of each day during this phase, days 1 through 14. During your luteal phase, days 16 through 28, you want to get 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds and 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds each day. Now, the easiest way to do this is to just sprinkle them onto your yogurt or your salad or your smoothie or your acai bowl, however you're feeling. Easy. Sprinkle them on anywhere, honestly. If you don't have time for that, throw them into your trail mix. Take a handful on your way to work or however it works into your schedule. Another thing that we could definitely help you with in coaching. Okay? So, the next thing I want to talk about, ladies, is the foods that are important for us to eat. We have to understand that our bodies need specific nutrients because we are going through a menstruation once every month, usually, most of us, some of us. Okay? So, number one, and why we crave things like chocolate is because we need magnesium. Dark chocolate is really, really high in magnesium. You can also buy magnesium supplements that have become really easy and accessible these days. A nice little powder, you just put it into your drink. So easy. Drink it before bed. So nice. Okay? Magnesium is really important for us. Berries are really important for us. Leafy greens are really important for us. Healthy fats, especially things like nuts, avocados, okay? Sweet potatoes, sweet potatoes. We got to get our sweet potatoes. We need a diversity of different types of protein, ladies. We need legumes, which are beans. We need, and if this is in your diet plan, eggs, yogurt, healthy oils, fats, those omega 3s from things like flax seeds, small oily fish contain those types of things. A lot of algae contain these omega 3s. So things like spirulina, chlorella contain some of these nutrients as well. So the next thing I want to discuss with you guys today is optimum hormonal health. Okay. Now, there are a lot of things that are disrupting our hormonal health in today's world, unfortunately, but these things are known as hormonal disruptors, are known as endocrine disruptors. That's the body system. Your endocrine system is where your hormones are, and that's the body system that's affected by these disruptors. And these things are natural, sometimes they're man made chemicals that interfere or sometimes even mimic the body's hormones. Okay? And we know that these chemicals are linked with many health problems in both wildlife, like on Earth, planetary ecosystem, and people. There's a lot of hormonal issues and problems that are going on around the world right now. So the human body is dependent on hormones for a healthy endocrine system, which controls many biological processes like growth, like how you grow up, right? Your fertility, your ability to reproduce is really, really affected by this system. So if we're, potentially having issues conceiving or we're seeing other hormonal things that are going on or symptoms of hormonal issues, sometimes we don't even realize that we're experiencing symptoms that are related to our hormones, okay? Which is why it's so important for us to be in tune with ourselves, with our womb, and with our bodies so that we know what's going on, okay? So let's talk about hormone disruptors a little bit more. We're just going to hone it down. There are a lot of chemicals and things out there that are in our soaps, our body washes, the things that we use to clean around the house, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. I mean, there's so many different things, but we just have to make sure that we're consistently eating a healthy diet, cleansing the body, detoxing, as well as avoiding, if we can, these 8 hormone disruptors that I'm going to list. Okay, so there's 8 things that we can do. Okay, we can avoid as much as possible dairy. If you do eat dairy, I recommend that it be something that is loaded with probiotics, like a kefir, right? Or yogurt, or a probiotic cottage cheese, you know? But dairy's on that list, okay? Number two is sugar. Sugar is on that list. Number three, stress is a major hormone disruptor, okay? And when I'm saying stress, I'm more referring to lack of sleep, lack of, you really just tired, like you're pushing yourself beyond your means. And moms, you guys have a tendency to do this, okay? You have a tendency, I love you. You have a tendency, and we appreciate this. Like, this is how the world goes round, right? But it's really important that you are getting enough sleep. Okay, like this is like 911. This is like the most important thing. And like we think that we're doing for our children, and we think that we're doing for the ones that we care for, but we're not caring for ourselves. And so we're actually hurting these beings without realizing it, because you're at your ends with, you know what I mean? Like you just don't have it. So when you're at that point of stress, when you're at that point of no sleep, lack of at your ends with, you know what I mean? Your body is at its ends with. As within, so without, you know. How you feel inside is how you are. You're like, you know what I mean? So be careful with the stress, all right? Gluten, another one, that's number four. Number five, alcohol, okay? Number six, caffeine. Number seven, lack of exercise, not moving enough, being stagnant, sitting at that desk all the time. Honey, you gotta move. You gotta move. You gotta get one of them standing desks with the little treadmill on the bottom, and you gotta like walk and like do it, honey. Okay? Number eight, which we kind of touched on a little bit, are the environmental toxins, which are the chemicals in your cosmetics, the chemicals on your clothes, the chemicals in the cleaning products, right? The chemicals in the furniture, the chemicals that are everywhere, right? So we just have to be careful, right? We just got to do the best that we can, you know, that's just it. But those are the top eight hormone disruptors: dairy, sugar, stress, gluten, alcohol, caffeine, lack of exercise, and environmental toxins. Okay, so that being said, sometimes it feels so overwhelming when we start to like look at health, the environmental toxins, all the things we need to do, eat healthy, do this, do that, you know what I mean? Like, it's overwhelming, especially for moms. I get that. I totally get that, especially when you have a family and you're tired and, life just doesn't stop. It's like every day, it's like the same thing, you know? You never get a break. You never get a break. And so the last thing that I have here for you guys, ladies, is a list of herbs that you can bathe with, that you can steam with, that you can create as tea, that are relaxing and just good for our health and for our sanity and for our womb as well. Some of these could be things that you just have laying around the house. To bathe with these, you can just, if you have these loose herbs, fresh herbs, just put them in a little, like a larger tea bag, or shoot, just put them right in there in the water. Just make sure that you fish them out before you strain out the water, because you'll clog up your pipes, okay? But you can put some basil. Basil's a great relaxing herb to steam with. If you don't have time for a bath, but you're a busy mom or a busy woman that is in the kitchen maybe often, one of the things that I like to do, because I'm in the kitchen often, is to steam. And so what I mean by that is you get a pot with boiling water and you put some of these herbs in there. You probably have some of these, right? So we mentioned basil. On this list is thyme. On this list is rosemary. I know y'all got some rosemary. I know you got some basil somewhere. You got some oregano. Do you have like Italian herbs? That's it, right? That's what's in there, okay? So some oregano, some rosemary, some thyme, some basil. Okay, those are like the basic ones that you could probably find around your kitchen. If you want to level up a little bit, you can get a little lavender, okay, a little chamomile, right? A little calendula. All right, a little motherwort, a little mugwort, if you're feeling real bougie. All right, throw those in there and just stand over that pot, girl. Just take 5 minutes while the kids are like put on. You know what I recently found out? Danny Go. Danny Go. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. You got the kids, in there on YouTube doing the thing. Like I did some serious Danny Go the other day during Easter. Listen, if you got young kids, you don't got time for none of this that I'm talking about. At least take some time to steam, okay? Put on Danny Go. Let the kids do their little exercise because that's important, okay? And you just put these in the pot and you just stand over that pot for 5 to 10 minutes and just put it on low, get it on a low simmer and let that steam just breathe. Just breathe, okay? If you don't have time for the steam, or after you steam and you put all the herbs in there and you have this now pot of water, it's tea, okay? So strain it and make a tea, all right? Make a tea, honey. While you're in there and you're making the kids lunch and you put on the Danny Go, you steam. Then once you got the kids' lunch ready, sit the kids down, you sit down, and you drink that tea, honey. And you just sit there and you just sip your little tea and you just have your little moment, okay? Anyways, I don't want to make this too long, but today we learned about hormone balance, okay? We learned about the 8 hormone disruptors. We learned about important foods for women, including seed cycling, the 4 seeds that can really help you not only balance your hormones, but just make you a healthier you. And we learned how to track and sync your cycle, okay? Please go to www.holisticchefs.com, book a consultation, fill out the application so that we can get together, okay? I love you guys. And to all my moms out there, I know Mother's Day is coming up very soon. Happy early Mother's Day. And we love y'all. Y'all are how this whole thing is happening, okay? And I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves, all right? Ciao.